Cheers for joining me for another Albums I Love video. I've been new series of videos for me and this channel. It's basically showcasing albums in my collection, which I absolutely love and means something to me. And today's album is from a band which I got into when I was a teenager. I still listen to them now. First of all, I'd like to introduce myself if you haven't seen this ugly mush before. My name is JB. My channel is a beer channel. There you go. Been going for 10 years and I do love my music. So I thought I'd do some music stuff as well. So the band we're going to is Slayer. Now, yes, Slayer. I like Slayer. I'll be honest, I got into Slayer when I was 14. 14, picked up a copy of, it has to be Rain in Blood. I picked up a copy of Rain in Blood. At the time, I was listening to early Metallica, and I was listening to Anthrax. Not too much into Megadeth, and to be honest, I'm not really that into Megadeth. I do appreciate them as a band. But for me, Slayer, out of them big four, were the band what kind of like were the hardest. I thought they were the most aggressive and hardest out of the big four, and I like that. And when you're a teenager and you come from a slightly, I wouldn't say a religious background, but from a background where people went to church and stuff like that. This was the ideal, resentment, if you know what I mean. It's the ideal revenge on that type of thing. And I loved Rain in Blood. Thought that was good. I picked up Hell Awaits as well. Really, really enjoyed that. Live Undead, enjoyed that. And Seasons of Abyss came out. Brilliant. Again, we're going to a period of a band which were untouchable. Hell Awaits, Show No Mercy, Hell Awaits, Rain in Blood, South of Heaven, and Seasons in the Abyss. For me, that is the flawless era of Slayer. For me, I think with bands like Slayer and a lot of the heavy bands, I think the longer they go on, the less magical it becomes in a way. And I hate to say things like that, but for me, it's true. When you look at a band, say like Metallica, the magic of Metallica for me were in them first four albums. It's not there now for me. They write some good tunes, and I would go and see them. A great act, they are, but when it comes to the music, for me, the magic is in them early albums. And, Slayer wouldn't do a greatest best of, would they? A greatest hits of that era. But what they did was release an astonishingly good live album. And this is it. Decade of Aggression Live, Slayer. That, for me, is awesome. The sound quality on that is absolutely awesome. It hits you like a kick in the bollocks. But I'll tell you what, that for me is their finest. It is. It is. When you have heavy bands and they're in the studio, it does not pale anything. It's nothing compared to them live. It's kind of like, nothing. When in the studio, it feels controlled. It feels everything. It's got its place. It's produced. It's mixed, and everything's controlled. When it's on that stage in front of the fans, live, recorded live, the edge, the raw intensity, the energy of the music comes through, and it comes through in spades on this album. I mean, I'll give you the track listing. There's a lot of tracks, double album. Hell Awaits, The Antichrist, War Ensemble, South of Heaven, Raining Blood, Altar of Sacrifice, Jesus Saves, Dead Skin Mask, one of my favourites to be honest, Seasons in the Abyss, Mandatory Suicide, Angel of Death, Hallowed Point, Blood Red, Die by the Sword, Black Magic, Captor of Sin, Born of Fire, Postmortem, Spirit in Black, Expendable Youth, Chemical Warfare, produced by their in-house producer, you could call it, Rick Rubin. It's brilliant stuff. For me, this album is the pinnacle. This, do I think Slayer changed when Jeff Hanneman passed away? Yeah, maybe. But for me, out of the big four band, the thrash big four, for me, I've always thought Slayer was the best out of the big four. They were very intense. They were what thrash metal should have been, or should be, I wouldn't like being a band to follow Slayer on a bill, You got a tall order. I mean, how do you follow a band like Slayer on a bill? You can't really, can you? You got to be a pretty big top draw to be a band to follow that type of act in terms of intensity and aggression and all out, kind of like raw power. Some people have asked me in the past, aren't you a little bit old to be listening to stuff like this? Well, no, not really. I mean, the music I still listen to now is the music what shaped me when I was younger, When I was a kid, it was an escape. This type of music was an escape. When you go to school, you had RE. I remember the woman who used to teach, I can't remember her name, but I'll be honest, she was a bitch. Okay, you turn up, you turn up at a lesson and you had a little Ronnie James Dio kind of like necklace on and everything like that. She hated you, what are you listening to and everything like that, because, parents didn't really understand metal music back then. Do I think they understand it now? Well, I suppose they do, because the people used to listen to it back then are parents now. But back then it was kind of like, metal music is about rebellion. It's about, this is teenagers, this is our music. We didn't have the internet, we didn't have smartphones, you didn't have file sharing, you didn't have anything. All you had was your bloody Commodore 64 and a load of metal CDs, you know what I mean? And it was more of a pure upbringing, if you know what I mean. It was kind of like, this is me. This is the fuck you, and fuck you. I don't want to listen to your nonsense. I don't want to listen to your preaching. I don't want to learn at school. I don't want to, listen to your advice. Some of the advice, though, you think yourself, oh, a bit older now. Yeah, maybe I should have done that. Maybe not. But you know what I mean? It was our music. It was us as teenagers listening to stuff like this, and it's a magical time of your life when you listen to stuff like this. It's kind of like nothing else mattered. Nothing else mattered. You listening to this, and you didn't listen to anybody else. Lock yourself in your room, cans on your head, whack this up, wallop, in a world of your own. So boys and girls, that is why I love this album. It sounds brilliant, it's raw, it captures them brilliantly, and there's live albums out there, which I've got a few more to bring you. I'll bring you some more, what really do capture a band more than the studio will ever do. That one, for me, does it for Slayer. Thank you so much for watching this long-winded waffle on Slayer. But it's a band and an album I love. Thank you so much. See you on my next one. Horns up. Bib bib.